guys, I'm ChezPride, and today we're back with another Sims News related video. And today I want to go over the bits and pieces of news we have gotten in the last week or two in the Sims universe since my last Sims News related video. This time, mostly to do with updates that are coming and have come recently to The Sims 4, including a laundry list and announcement video for the big patch coming next week, May 12th, for our monthly update where they're trying to, quote, fix the game and give us like a bunch of quality life fixes. But real quick, I want to talk about the transitioning of the future in the Sims world that we have been seeing from the Sims team, more so to do with the surveys and the AI news that we are getting. So if you have been following along at all, at least a little bit in the Sims news universe in the last year or so, you will probably know about the potential EA buyout and how it is affecting the future of The Sims. But basically, if you don't, I've made a bunch of videos over it, but in summary, a investor consortium led by the Saudi Arabia's Public Investors Funds, private equities from Silver Lake, and Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners are all supposed to be set up to buy out the whole company of EA in 2027. Now, there are, petitions going around to block this. This isn't the Sims team's fault. They are not involved in this. I mean, they are involved in this. They're directly involved in this. But it's not the Sims team's fault that EA is being bought out, but it is EA's fault that is affecting the future of The Sims. And slowly over the last year or so, we have gotten different news pieces, different sources from inside sources of people working on the team or people who have left the team. We also have gotten news from the Sims team themselves directly of slightly hinting at what is going on in the future. Even before the deal was announced, they did kind of already have a story going about how there was going to be new Sims games coming to the future. We have Project Renee, Project X, and we've talked about all of those in past videos. Conclusion, what is mostly going on right now, according to our inside sources and what we have pieced together from what the Sims team is going on, is that EA is basically taking over. They're going to be cutting costs. They're going to be putting them into debt. And from there, they're going to have to use sources like AI and cutting people's jobs and a bunch of other things that just aren't great when it comes to quality of life stuff, which, I mean, at the end of this video, we're supposed to be going over a whole patch laundry list note about stuff that they're supposed to be doing to improve the game, but they're basically taking the future of The Sims. So they're going to be making a whole new game. They're going to be dropping members of the team. They're going to be replacing them with AI, and it's basically going to be the same as The Sims 4, just like slightly upgraded to work better on your system. So the graphics will probably be a little bit different, but basically the same. Everything will run the same, but they're trying to do it like a Sims 4 2.0 because Sims 4 went over so well compared to past Sims games. That's kind of what they're trying to do, and in that, they're slowly weaning us off Sims 4, but at the same time dragging it out. So right now, we have just had the marketplace introduced to us, so there are new maker packs where they're teaming up with CC creators and making them make their, well, they're not making them, but they're giving them the chance to make their own pack, but then they're only giving them 30%. And then because of that, the marketplace wasn't a big success because it was pretty much supposed to be from here on out, we're no longer getting expansion packs, game packs, stuff packs. We would only be getting kits and makers packs, and you would only be able to access them through the marketplace. But that is already starting to fail because they have already announced that they're bringing kits back to the EA app. So you can only get maker packs through the marketplace, but kits are already back. They're bringing out new kits. They're bringing out new maker packs. They're basically pushing for mini transactions instead of giving us big content, because the big content is being saved for the future Sims whatever game. That's kind of what's going on now, and we kind of are starting to see that through different things that The Sims is doing. And one of the things that The Sims has been doing for a while now, like in the last few months, they've been putting out a bunch of surveys, which I find interesting because, one, with the announcement of AI, I kind of have to wonder how many of these are AI generated quizzes, because if we go here, AI is just cementing people's job at EA, and pretty much they are saying that EA, like almost 85% of the learning algorithm is AI driven, and this is only going to get worse because EA is starting to do layoffs. They have already laid off over 1,900 people to replace them with AI, and of course if the Kushner and all that takes over, then it's going to be so much worse for the future of The Sims. But they have been putting out a bunch of quizzes, and some of them are for The Sims 4 kind of directly, but others we're getting like this, and it's kind of just talking about The Sims 4 in general. And I really think that these like surveys in particular that are talking about how The Sims works and what you like in The Sims and what you want to see in The Sims, I don't think it's for The Sims 4, even though it's saying tell us how you play The Sims 4. I really think it's like them trying to gather information on what they should put in future Sims games, which I guess under the surface isn't bad, but like I said, I just have to wonder if it's AI. I really do, because they're saying that pretty much all their database now is AI generated. All the people, the things keeping records of what is most popular and what is least popular and all that. But I did want to show you kind of some of the questions that they are asking, kind of what they're looking into putting in the game and what they want to see, what people feel best about and whatnot. So if we go to this survey here, which a lot of these surveys that have been coming out are just like temporary surveys, so by the time that I find out about them, a lot of times they've already passed, which I also don't understand, like why are they only putting a survey out for a day or two? That's not enough time to get a lot of feedback, but maybe they're doing that on purpose so their feedback is more positive. I don't know. But like I said, some of them are more specific to Sims 4, but this one I thought was interesting because it's definitely more broad than just what would be coming to the future of The Sims 4, considering they're trying to wean off the future of The Sims 4 and move on to the next Sims game. So if we go here, I think this one was directly put on their Discord, I'm pretty sure. But if we go here and press next, let's see what kind of questions they're asking. So the first one here, it says, how do you usually play The Sims 4? What is the main thing that drives you to spend time in the game? So exploring different parts of the game, I'm focusing on individual Sims and progressing them to their goals, and then moving on to new Sims or generation and trying something new. Telling stories through relationships, social interaction, building connections between Sims, and following their lives over time, including across generations, and creating and customizing Sims or their environments and shaping spaces and characters to match what you have in mind. So they're basically just trying to break it down into 3 different ways you can play the game and try to figure out what is the main feature they can focus on. And then here you can select up to 2. And once you get to think about your most recent play session, what you spend the most time doing. But then the third question is, how do you usually play Sims over time and what do you do most often? Because those are totally 2 different questions, but they have the same answers. So they want to know, are you trying to complete goals and aspirations or events? Are you taking care of Sims and their daily needs? Are you playing through family and generation stories? Are you going in to create a Sim? Are you playing out on social or romantic interactions and storylines? Are you browsing and downloading from the gallery, or are you building or decorating lots? And then we also have which of these motivate you to play The Sims 4 the most. So they want to know, are you trying to make your own story, like the original story? Are you trying to tell a story that changes and inspires through prompts in the game? Or do you want to jump into a socially rich world that you feel connected to the Sims that live there? Do you want to see my Sims make progress in their life through achievements, skills, and life progression? Or do you want to design and control a believable world where anything fits your vision? So they're really trying to see what is the most popular type of Sim player here. I'm assuming thing so they can put it into future games. And then honestly, they just put a box down. Is there anything you want to tell us? So if you're interested in taking that survey, I believe I found it on the Sims 4 Discord. But like I said, there has been other more specific surveys going around. And I'm not totally against these surveys. Like, don't think I'm trying to hate on them. I'm trying to show you what they're trying to get information on and how they're trying to get information on it. Because really, especially with the Sims 4 Pacific surveys, like this one's been out a little bit longer and it's more just like broad to do with the, EA Sims games in general. But like stuff like this, where like on their Discord, they're talking specifically about food, dining, and drinks, and, asking for people to give their feedback with Sims eating, Sims drinking, Sims dining experience, as well as Dine Out in particular. This is just a sample of some of the surveys that they have been doing, but I just find it weird that they're putting them all kind of like on a timer, especially the Sims 4 Pacific related ones. And I feel like if they're trying to gather data, why not make it a longer experience? Like, why not give people more time? Why not promote the surveys? I feel like almost they're trying to see the surveys get better feedback by giving people less time to find the surveys. Basically, over here on their Discord, they have a place where you can share your thoughts and concerns and what you think is the most important. And I do think that the surveys are good potential for them to show improvements, but also it just makes me worry about the future of the Sims, because Dine Out has been out how long and they're still trying to fix it. And I do appreciate them taking the time to do the surveys, but this first survey obviously shows that they will just soon be moving on. And honestly, I won't be surprised if they end up dropping all of this quality of life roadmaps and we're going to improve the Sims no matter what happens in the future. Well, the new game's going to come out. Is it going to be like The Sims 3 and they just end up completely dropping it and leaving the game a broken mess? I don't know. But real quick in this video, I did want to remind you, I've already talked about this in a completely other video, but there still is a petition going on to block the EA deal, which will hopefully block a lot of the AI stuff and the replacements of the Sims team and other EA game players, and them not going into a private company where they don't have to go through the human rights program. And even if we don't fully block this deal, you can still have the jury or the people they have to go in front of, the congressmen and whatnot, be like, hey, this is not going to work. If you're going to buy it, at least do this. So maybe we can at least get them to go do the human rights program, because that's a big concern, especially in The Sims, with how open of a game the Sims is and how it's supposed to be about expressing all these different people's unique personalities and lifestyles. And, not the best people are going to be owning EA, and it's just very concerning that they're going into a private company, especially with the debt they will be putting the game into. So there's a bunch of reasons why we want to block the EA deal. So if you are interested in signing this petition, it is still up here. I put a link to the petition in one of my previous videos, but it is just playersilencehq.org/block-ea-deal-petition/. So that is the link if you're looking for it. But like I said, I have posted the link in a previous video. You can find the thumbnail. It literally has the block the EA deal petition in the thumbnail. But I just want to remind you that that's still going on if you haven't signed it yet. But with that, that's kind of what's going on in the world of The Sims and EA in general. Now let's kind of dive more into what has been going on in the Sims 4 world in particular. So if you have happened to see my last Sims news related video, then this article may look a little familiar to you, and that's because we have already read this whole article, so I won't be going through it again. But since this article has come out, they have went ahead and clarified on one of the things that came in this particular patch update. Now, this is the patch update where the marketplace was introduced to consoles, and with that, they did a couple of other quality life updates, including prom once again being available on calendars and Sims being able to attend. Now, this is like mainly what they said happened in prom, but it says alongside this fix, we fixed another issue where prom goals weren't able to be completed, and a few other things basically is what they're saying. And they didn't address every single thing that was fixed or quote unquote fixed when it came to prom, because let's go ahead and say this now, because I try to point this out in every video when we talk about bug fixes and whatnot. These are the things that they are trying to fix, that they are saying is going to be fixed, but we gotta take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes it either just isn't fixed, or it makes something worse, or it causes a new bug that is related to this. So, when they say it's fixed, they're attempting to fix it. So the things that they wanted to address specifically in prom, they ended up a couple of days later putting out a YouTube Shorts video. I think it was probably on their other social medias as well, that went exactly through what 100% they targeted when it came to prom. And it was way more than just being able to attend and it showing up on the calendars and you being able to complete assignments. So real quick, I'm just going to play this video and talk about what it touches on. It does go by really quickly, so I'll play it and then mute it and we'll pause and go back through it. But I tried to make it where it wouldn't blow your ears off, so let me go ahead and play this real quick. Alright, so that was the quick little video. Obviously, it was very, very quick. I'm trying to get it all the way down. Can you just mute all the way? There you go. Obviously, it did bring up more than just those couple of things. So starting off here with the proposals, because they would do the promposals to you, but they would always just come up and ask. It was never with a sign or anything fancy. So apparently they're making it to where they can also do the big proposals, because your Sims could always, prep a poster and propose to another Sim. But it couldn't really happen to them, even though it was supposed to. So apparently they're fixing that. And of course, all of this has to do with high school years. And then just getting the prom notification in general, that's been something they've been working on off and on. And it's been breaking off and on for years. So we have that apparently working now. And then as well as it'll actually show up on the calendar. It's kind of been disappearing off and on the calendar for a while now. And then another thing they talk about besides just the prom goals is actually the after party, because, the after party just is always weird. It's just a bunch of people show up, they stand around the dock for a minute and then disappear and you're kind of on your own. So apparently they're improving that. So I am curious of that in particular. I feel like that should have definitely been mentioned in the notes, but it wasn't. Speaking of notes, we do have another note list I want to look at, and basically this one was just a hot fix update, that gallery fixes and console updates that came out April 28th, 2026. So it doesn't have a lot to it. There's literally only 6 fixes, one of them being base game update and the rest being for the console. It's pretty much they're saying, hey, we know when we launched the marketplace, which was what my last Sims News video was about on console, that it was very glitchy, and these are the things we are trying to improve for it so it works better. Basically the same thing they did for the PC when they dropped it for the console, but now they're fixing it for the console as well. So for the base game update, so this will have to do with everyone, not just console. It says, when using the gallery, some players realized the results did not match the expectations due to an issue with our filtering and incorrect responses. This will be returned in some situations. No uploads to the galleries were removed and they're still available to view, engage with and download. So basically they're just saying, hey, we're going to try to make the things you look up in the gallery actually match what you're looking up in the gallery, instead of just being random or saying we don't have that when we do. And, you know, again, something I've been trying to fix for a while, so we'll hope it works. I don't know exactly how the tweaking of the filters work, but basically they just are tweaking filters. Then we have console. So I don't personally play on console. I have friends that play on console, but I tried to mention their updates as well. I didn't do it as soon as it came out because I figured there would be a laundry list here soon enough, and I kind of wanted to wait till the laundry list for the next patch came out before I talked about this patch update because it wasn't a big one. But for console, I launched some PlayStation simmers who purchased moolah found that did not reflect in their wallet and balance in game. We identified the issue and rolled out an update on our backend and confirmed with Impact players that this was now working. Any purchases from the PlayStation Store that hasn't shown up in game will automatically reflect the next time you play. So basically, you would buy stuff, you wouldn't get it in game. Bullshit. Alright. And then some simmers with packs noticed that every time a new session was start, the new content notification screens would display, and we know that you're excited when you have a new pack, but this reminder is not intentional. It has been resolved. Honestly, that's the problem on PC too, not only maker packs. And then we have simmers using a controller reported that opening and upload while the gallery was still populated would put the game into a soft lock requiring a restart. This should no longer happen. That a whole point of some of the last updates was to actually have it where you could have an upload going in the gallery when this was happening, and apparently it was making your game crash, so it's fixed now apparently. The 200 moolah tier was missing from our simmers on the Japan PlayStation Store. This is available on all platforms in all territories now, which interesting that they would have the smallest tier of moolah disappear. Just saying. You know, you can't buy the cheapest moolah. That's not even an option in Japan, apparently. I mean, it is now, but it wasn't. And then the last one is the PlayStation simmers may have noticed that when going to the PlayStation Store from the marketplace, you wouldn't have seen information about the pack you wanted to know more about. This has been updated, and you will be presented with the pack details on the PlayStation Store once again. So like I said, all of that was a quick hot fix on April 28, 2026, so about a week ago, and I've been holding off on that till we got this laundry list because I knew we were going to be getting a laundry list, which brings us to our last bit of news on this video, which is probably going to take the longest to go over, which is the laundry list. But before we get into the laundry list, they actually put out a little video basically talking about what is on the laundry list. Now, this is the laundry list for the patch update coming May 12th, which is next week. And it's our big monthly update where they give us bug fixes and quality of life fixes, and they normally add on a new feature or some kind of upgrade to the game when they give us these monthly patches. It's been going on for almost a year now, like about 7-8 months now, where they've been giving us a monthly update every single time. Sometimes they do kind of break the game a little bit more, but a lot of times they're actually pretty decent. They are pretty decent size, and this one is saying it's going to be pretty big. So we're going to watch the little clip video kind of telling us what is going to be coming in this update next week, but also we're going to go to the laundry list and read all the specifics and get into the nitty gritty. So again, I tried to make the volume where it wouldn't blow your ears off. I may even lower it a little bit more. And we're going to quickly sit here and watch the Sims team talk about what's coming up in the next update.
So Simmers, we've heard your feedback and it's shaping our focus in the months ahead for The Sims 4. Coming up next, our new quality of life update is on May 12th, bringing over 150 bug fixes to the game. Based on player feedback, we fixed a bunch of top-voted community issues, improved infant gameplay, and your Sims autonomy. You know, tuning. On top of these fixes, there will be some new additions, including layering in Create a Sim, new save backups, and a new infant playmat. Find the full list for the May update in our laundry list. As always, thank you and keep that feedback coming.
Alright, so that was the whole video. I tried to put it on mute so we could scan over it real quick. But like I said, I'm about to go into the laundry list of all of this. So we go here, 150 bug fixes are happening, which probably have to do somewhere with these as well. And of course, our technical director, Daryl, is talking to us and saying that, you know, we're trying to focus on quality of life things, blah, 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 you know, including your Sims autonomy and whatnot. Is coming May 12th and is PC and console update, so they're not making console wait for once. But if we look at here, just what they're showing here, we're seeing a couple of new layering things here. So we have a short sleeve and a long sleeve shirt that are being layered under these outfits. They're talking about infant care and new infant playmats, which this literally looks like the Growing Together playmat, but just in different swatches. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it because I hate the fact that did they put one playmat? I feel like they added one playmat to the base game. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But either way, they need another playmat in the base game if they don't already have one. Right now, the Growing Together and the kits are where you can get mats right now. So happy to see that. But the layering actually looks kind of cool. It did have something to do with laying down, I guess. I guess maybe where the couples don't lay down in the bed together maybe would be fixed. Again, we'll go through the laundry list in particular, but we have some college living fixes, we have some camera picture fixes, and then again we have the infant talking about them here. And then here's the layering. So the layering, we have a long sleeve like turtleneck shirt, which is pretty cool. We saw a short sleeve shirt as well. It looks like there's a turtleneck and a non-turtleneck in the long sleeve shirt. So I'm excited to see how many different shirts there are. I'm also excited to see how many different colored playmats there are for the infants and what other quality like fixes they're making for infants other than playmats. So new safe backups. So I think this is just where we've had in the past them talk about we are going to get an update where you would be able to go back further. I think we'll get into it in the laundry list, but basically new safe backups. Oh, but let's look at some of these playmats. Oh, but they are cute. That one totally gives like 90s vibes. I'm all about it. I really like the teal and white sheep. That's super cute. I would totally use that in a lot of my worlds. Okay, let's look at real quick what this is saying, because it does show a couple of the things. So we have blacked out paintings and photos. Again, we have scandaled icon, medium and large photos, paint from reference, disabled caregiver autonomy, infant snugging a buff, standing milestones not registering for infants and toddlers. A bunch of infants and toddlers here. Sims now successfully fully autonomy give an infant a bath. That is things. So I'm not going to read all of these, but just pointing out some of the ones that are standing out to me. Most of these are infants. From what I'm seeing, the Sims will clean up the diapers left on the floor. That isn't a big one that's been annoying me recently. Okay, that's pretty good. And it just lists where you can find where the fixes are, which is this laundry list right here. So we are back on the EA official website where we went over this article as well in my last video. Most of the as well as the other article we just went over that was just the hot fixes. Most of my information I try to get off the official EA website just because I feel like it's like the most legit place to get it. It's posting straight from the Sims team. This laundry list is called Upcoming Quality of Life Updates, Free Content, and More. And like I said, this is the laundry list. So if you don't know a laundry list and you haven't picked up on this point, it's pretty much a list of what is coming in the future for us, a future being a week from now. And this in particular article was written on May 5th. So technically the day I am reading this, but it's like 9 o'clock at night. So by the time I post this video, it'll probably technically be the next day, but basically, it was posted today or yesterday once this video is posted. So this is the most recent article that they have put on the EA website, and it reads, Social Summers. Over the years, The Sims 4 has grown with incredible range of content and experience, from new ways to create and customize to deeper life stages and gameplay systems. Over the few months, our focus is making that content even better by delivering improvements to gameplay that matters most to Simmers. As a part of that effort, today's laundry list details just some of the 150 plus fixes and new features coming in our base game update on May 12th, including improvements from your highest request tasks. This means new optimization, infant toddler sleep, and general sim autonomy plus fixes for top voting community issues. These areas of improvement have been directly informed by top EA forum issues with additional collective feedback from Discord and Reddit. So it says, we are also increasing the frequency of autonomy generated backup save files, adding a new infant playmat and bringing new layering feature in The Sims, and continuing to expand technical info we provide and modders and CT to support their work. And there's a lot more detail in the patch notes on the 12th. So it's saying this is some of what we're getting, not all of it. Also, what I was questioning about the save files is their increase in the frequency of automatically generated backup save file, which I think is like a new thing they're like kind of bringing in, is like automatically backing up generated save files. And instead of you having to manually do it, there'll at least be a checkpoint. So there's that, which is good, because I was like, is it adding more saves, or is it like doing the auto? And it was doing the auto. I just wasn't exactly sure for the video. This is why we read the patch notes. And then the new infant playmat we already talked about, and then the layering feature, which I actually really liked the fact that if you click on this link here, you actually get a guide to how the layering system works in the game. So like if you're a modder or you're making a maker pack and you want to do the layering under the clothes, then this tells you how they have done it. And I did read through it, and pretty much it's just like making clothes super skin tight to the sim and then making sure they don't clip, and that's pretty much the whole thing. But I do like the fact that this article shows a picture of the girl having the clothing under a dress. It's not just, shirts, it's actual dresses as well. Of course, we already have leggings for legs, so you don't really have to worry about that, but we don't have like layering of shirts. So this is really cool of a feature. I like the fact that there's t-shirts and different long sleeves, including turtlenecks and non-turtlenecks and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. And then also it says, if you're hungry for even more, we'll be hosting a special Q&A on our Sims Discord at 2 p.m. on May 5th. So apparently I missed that. I did not see that be advertised whatsoever. Again, they're not advertising like the Q&As and surveys like quick enough. I feel like they need to give more updates. They are talking about the live stream tomorrow, or the day I post this, it'll be that day, where there's going to be a Twitch live stream showcasing the updates in the games and answering questions live. So I guess they'll probably be answering the Discord questions in the live stream is what I'm assuming. And they have things that they automatically want to show us, like the layering and whatnot. So that will be hosting probably the day that I'm posting this video, like 12 hours or something, as long as I can get this video edited and post it before I go to bed. So exciting stuff happening there. I always like when the Sims do a Twitch live stream. I think it's actually really entertaining and whatnot, but sometimes they do it to where they interact with the crowd. Sometimes they'll do it where it's like a news announcement, and they did do the short little like video we watched earlier, like, hey, this is what's coming in the update, but this is the one where they'll be actually like interacting with people. So that'll just be on the Sims Twitch server. And then it says, the fun doesn't stop there. In months ahead, we'll continue shipping more fixes, delivering new free content, and rolling out collaborations and partnerships we can't wait to share with you. Ensuring that you have positive sim experience is critical to us, hopefully, somewhat, kinda. If you are expecting crashes or other game stopping issues, if you are experiencing crashes or other game stopping issues, please post here in our forums, and we'll continue to investigate with The Sims 4 The Sims team. So they're still saying that there might be potential game stopping issues, but this is where you can go. And of course, it's just going to the forums and whatnot. But as far as the actual features go, we have the fixes for the most voted issues. So obviously black photos. That is like the biggest thing going on when it comes to gameplay right now, where pretty much just your photo goes black and you can't get it back. So they are trying to resolve that issue again. And then Sims no longer keep putting down infants before picking them back up. They've been doing a lot of infant quality of life updates in general, but this is one I think is the biggest one. And Sims will no longer receive secret witness sentiment when married or engaged with Sim is witness woohooing their partner by another Sim. And then can't place item fixed in both new and old save. So apparently where you can't place an item is fixed, which I haven't had that problem, but apparently it's one of the most top voted issues. So and then Sims can get stuck with scandals. This is now fixed for new cases. Existing effective saves will have lingering VFX cleared. So apparently you couldn't clear out the scandal, which isn't great when it comes to that. So we have new base game layer feature. So we are adding a new category to Creative Sim called base layers, which will let simmers express themselves by broadening their fashion choices, providing covered options, and providing gender expression with the layering binder. Oh, they're adding a binder into it. That's nice. There will be 8 base game layer options for adults, 4 base game layer options for children, 2 for toddlers, and all in variety of colors. Actually, I love the fact that they're including this for almost all the life stages. I mean, I guess it's not super neat on infants, but also like I feel like it would be nice for infants. Maybe eventually we'll get something for infants, but it's not even just long sleeve. Like if you can see here, this is like a tank top under a t-shirt, or a crop top, I guess. So it's like a tank top under a crop. Oh, that's cute. With 380 plus new layer variants, including all swatches that can be layered, this gives players new outfit combinations by any top or full body assets. So, like I said, it is for tops and like dresses and full body outfits, but it's still super cool. Like, I don't feel like the leggings really need it. So the tops, I kind of appreciate they just focused on them. And they said there's going to be 8 adults, 4 children, 2 toddlers in all colors. It doesn't have all the options, but we can see the like tank top option with the female. We have a long sleeve non-turtleneck option with the adult male. Same on the female, but there's just like no collar at all. It's just sleeves. We have the tank top here on the kid, so it can be worn alone. You don't have to layer it, which is also really nice. And then we have the long sleeve on the toddler. Okay, so that's what we know about that. And then on to infant and toddler improvement fixes. So this update represents a significant investment into improving infant and toddlers based on top EA forum issues and additional feedback from Discord and Reddit, blah, blah, blah. After extensive playtesting, we are excited to share them with you. So it does say that it's been playtested, but also we're leaning into where AI is doing a lot of the playtesting. So is it really that well done? We'll see. New infant playmats. Sims prefer placing infants on playmats instead of the floor, making them feel more natural and all players can now enjoy. So I guess this is the first playmat to come to base game. I thought we already had like just one and it wasn't like this nice, but no. I guess it's literally the first one and it's going to be, and actually a bunch of cute swatches. Actually, I really like the sheep, and the sheep are my favorites. This colorful, or these 2 colorful ones I like this one. It kind of gives me like space 90s like arcade vibes. I don't know, but I don't know, the green, the blue, and the beige aren't my favorite, but these 2, this one and these 3, I really like. And like I said, it's basically just the same one from Growing Together, but you can just have it in the base game now, which I think is long overdue. I thought they had put one in at some point, but apparently not, and I appreciate they finally did. And then apparently there's going to be a new toggle to disable caregiver autonomy for infants. This will apparently help your sim be more controlled. They won't just like do random infant checks on their own, but it can lead to neglect. So if you're like not on top of your sim actually keeping care of their infant, like if you kind of rely on them doing it somewhat autonomously, you don't want to turn this off. But for me, I'm like constantly checking on the infant, so I might actually enjoy turning this off because I hate when I'll tell them to do something and then I'll tell them to go away and do something else, and then they'll stop what I tell them to do and go back and undo what I just told them to do. It's so annoying. So I actually appreciate this, but I can see where it would cause issues. I can see that. And then new infant thought bubble for loud noises. Infants now react to loud noises with a buff and thought bubble plus 1 time tutorial explaining why they wake up, helping players address this cause instead of repeated pickups. Okay, so basically, like if you left like a speaker on or TV on, it would like wake your infants up, but it wouldn't tell you why your infant was waking up, and then it would wake the parent up, and then it would be a whole problem. And now it's telling you, hey, there's a loud noise. It's keeping me from sleeping. Additional hover tip improvements such as preferred bottle feeding interactions to clarify that choosing a preference restricts autonomous feeding by method only and stands up for milestones where infants need specific nearby objects to pull themselves up. Thing that they have put there, they're just like basically giving little tips and whatnot. And then we have infant tuning. So Sims can now clean up diapers left on the floor. Thank God. Changing an infant's diaper in the changing table takes a third less of the time. I need to test that out once the patch update actually drops. Like, I am so curious of how quickly it will be because it takes forever. And then the infant hunger needs will now decrease slightly slower. We've received a light feedback on this, and we're hoping a slight tweak will improve the right balance for player realism and fun in the base game. So apparently the hunger will not go down quite as quick, which honestly, thank God, because they're always hungry. Then feeding an infant will now take about 15 minutes sim time, which is half the time it previously took. Okay, so they're making interactions faster. I appreciate that. Infant care interaction will now appear on the first pie menu when an infant's needs are low to ease of access, which is nice. Infant milestones tied to tummy time will now unlock twice as fast. Adjusting feeding as progression felt too slow, especially in a shorter lifespan. Actually, I also really appreciate that. You have to have growing together for that, but now it's saying that most of the milestones can actually be achieved in about 3 days, which is great if you play on a short lifespan, which I have a whole legacy series I play on a short lifespan. So that actually is really nice. And then we also have 25 plus bug fixes for top infant and toddler issues, including frequent infant pickups or put downs, caregiver conflicts, Sims freezing during major frustrations, and the update includes multiple interconnection fixes to address these issues, all available in the base game. And then we have infants and toddler needs will no longer decrease when the active Sim is on the other lot away from them. We hope this changes caregiving. Oh, yes. Oh, that's great. So basically, if you leave your Sim, toddler, or infant in a good mood and then leave the lot for a few hours and come back, their needs are not going to be horrible. That is such a big one. Oh my God. Okay. Then we have toddler Sims no longer will be hungry, but would remain ideal despite having food. And then we received feedback that reading to toddlers wasn't working well. We've addressed a few bugs to relate to this. So toddlers will now be able to successfully run to ask to read book interaction on teen or older. The be read to by interaction on toddler books should now be functional. And we fixed a code exception that could read Sims to reset when a Sim adult would click on a book to choose read to children. Honestly, that's been broken for a while, so I appreciate that. Infant milestones no longer disappear or being reset that infant households were visiting, while other households. This fixes on old saves as well as new for growing together. Also, for growing together, we have infants are now able to at their unlock milestone developmental progress when they are not at a residential lot. This fix is retroactive in old saves when the bug has been previously occurring. And then we have some non-infant ones. So we have autonomy and sleep fixes in particular. So we didn't stop at infants and toddlers. Improving overall autonomy, he player concerns. Sims can now dance for far less, about once per day, and no longer drink water autonomously, making behavior more predictable, less disruptive, plus additional bug fixes. With the EA forms, we have fixed an issue that was causing NPCs to enter a house and drink water, which honestly didn't happen like a super often to me, but it did happen and it was always really random. And then fixed an issue where children could be taken away despite not being neglected. Again, hasn't happened to me, but I'm so glad they fixed that. And then Sims with the jealous trait will no longer get upset when their partners interact with their own children. That's great. Okay. And then sleeping autonomously has been followed by community feedback addressing a mix of bugs and quality of life issues to make sleep behaviors more reliable. So hopefully they'll stop just waking up randomly. And then we have this. Sims woken up by near TV or radio will now turn off devices and turn off and return to sleep. This will intend the wake up behavior and make the cause clearer and reducing the repeated interruptions. So they will just autonomously finally turn off the speaker and TV that's waking me up. That's great. I love that. Hopefully it works. And then it says, we've added a hover tip to the nap interaction to clarify that this interaction is meant to be shorter with a boost of energy rather than the intentions that Phil needs fully. Sims should not stay in nap interaction until their energy is full, but we want to help clarify this is expected behavior. Okay, so it'll boost it, but it'll make it. Okay, I guess that works. I don't see why that really had to be clarified, but whatever. And then it says, fix an issue where exhausted Sims could get into bed but still collapse from fatigue, who fall asleep in bed now remain there instead of getting up and passing out. That has been an issue since like the game came out. That has totally been an issue since the game came out. And then it says, there were call-outs in sleeping EA forum threads that the Sims weren't sharing a bed with another Sim. See, that's what I was hoping they were going to fix earlier, and yeah, they fixed it. Okay, we believe this issue has been fixed. So now if they have a relationship high enough, they will sleep in the same bed with each other. And then as far as Love Struck goes, there was an issue where Sims were in a romantic relationship, so we're getting out of bed and told to sleep simultaneously. We added interaction called sleep and cuddle, which will now allow this gameplay function to work properly. Aww. Now you can choose to sleep and cuddle. I kind of love that though. And then canceling cuddling on a sleep sim will no longer wake both Sims up and interrupt their sleep. Okay, that's good. For Royalty and Legacies, among other fixes, Royalty and Legacies is getting a polished pass to. Alongside the top 2 community reported issues addressed in the list above, you can expect fixes for issues returning to the pool leadership, sentiment being added to the dynasty head, offspring of the pre-made dynasties not being added to dynasty, and pre-patched babies being born as a secret. We will also make various updates to the Grand Ball, even non-functioning properly. You can now expect to read more about these fixes on May 12th in the patch notes. They just listed a bunch of stuff up there. So a shit ton of Royalty and Legacies, but the top 2, our Sims will now arrive wearing the select dress code to the Grand Ball, and remaining oddities are due to tagging and would need to be reported individually. So it's just like the tagging of the outfits. It's not like the actual outfit category at this point. And then the mask option is no longer disabled after entering Creative Sim to change the host outfit. And then we also fixed the mask icon for the UI for hosting the Grand Ball event. And then we have a few more things here to look at. So base game general fixes alongside major improvements to infants, autonomously, and sleep. This update will fix a wide range of highly voted community issues across the base game and packs. Key fix includes resolving inventory bugs with photos, improved family tree accuracy, progress against preventing incorrect relationship changes in Creative Sim, and reverting the default gallery sorting back to newest. Across packs and systems, we have fixed gameplay blockers, UI issues, and instances. Highlights include gallery improvements like fewer upload timeouts and better sorting, fixing for disappearing animals, aging bugs, and improve event trait and interaction behavior. We also made a broad tagging, sorting, and visual update in Creative Sim and build mode to improve organization and consistency. These patch notes will be again on May 12th. They keep pointing out May 12th. I feel like I've said March 12th at some point. If I have, I do apologize. It's just like suddenly hitting me, hey, you may have said March 12th at some point, but it's May 12th. May 12th. May 12th. May 12th. Okay. Updates on top community fixes. While shipping fixes into top issues, we also continue to investigate other top community reported issues. So we have testing feature fixes on windows and doors, glitching into walls with certain graphics settings. So they want stuff to be good no matter your graphics setting. We're actively investigating a few challenging, likely performance related issues that are highly voted within the community. So lag after 1 hour gameplay, time freezes with the environment is still moving. That actually is annoying me. And then we are continuing to investigate ship fixes to reduce save corruptions. Following our March 10th update, scratch files were moved from documents app data to PC players to prevent conflicts with the cloud backup services. Since the rollout, we've seen improvements and could work some familiar changes to the Mac. So for the Mac, some save corruption issues such as failed lot placements, infinite loading, or white screens can be linked to heavy using of placement sheets. And then in the meantime, memory boost can help in certain situations. I'm working to clear surfaces and what is happening and how players can respond. And then we continue to investigate the case of partner sims forming in unintended family relationships and upon entering creative sim. If testing goes well, a fix should be included in the future update. And then began investigation autonomy, insulting or mean interaction happening in the player after this patch. In the recent player submit save, this behavior looks to be a design caused by Ashley Dynasty a deal, but we'll continue to investigate. So they're also including some stuff that is like they're working on, but it may not be the very next patch, but they're hoping to include it in the patch if they can. And I think at last, that is the end of our news. That was all the news in the last week or so, including the most recent laundry list. I will put a video out on the actual patch update when it comes out May 12th at some point in that day or the following days. I'll make a video on it. And some of the things I do actually want to go in game and test out, especially with the infant stuff. I'm very curious about the speed of the infant stuff. I kind of want to see that in game for myself. So I will be making a video on that. So be keeping an eye out for that next week. But guys, for now, I'm going to end this one here. I hope this kind of caught you up to the news since the last week and kind of clued you in a little bit on what is going on behind the scenes in the Sims world. But guys, if you made it to this point, I hope you find it either educational, entertaining, or both, because that was the purpose. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right, bye!